are talking about linear equations today, just a review of solving these equations. So you probably want a calculator of some sort, but we're just going to practice a few different types and make sure you know how to approach each of them. So what if I asked you to solve this equation? What would we begin with? So I have to distribute. That's a 6x minus 12. What about on the right-hand side? What are we doing? Distribute. What do we have to distribute there?
Negative.
Okay, so that would just be a negative x and a negative 5. All right, what comes next? Add and subtract, combining our like terms. So on the left, we have our 10 and our negative 12, so that gives us a negative 2 plus 6x. On the right, we have our 17 minus 5, so 12 minus x. Now what? Add this x over. I'm going to go ahead and add my 2 on the other side as well. So we get 7x equals 14. Divide our 7 and x is 2. All right, you guys have solved many equations like this before. So it's just kind of a refresher on what order to do things. Making sure we're distributing first. Making sure we're not dropping these negatives. The nice thing about an equation, you can always check your answer. How? Plug it back into the original. Okay, you can use a calculator on it, not a big deal. Plug it in both sides and it should be the same. Okay, so equations like that we don't have any trouble with? Okay. What if I give you this one? So what do we think? Probably not. Why? What's different? Okay, we've got to combine and distribute. So we have x plus 7 over 6. Could I split that up? You could. There's only one thing on the denominator. There's several ways of doing this problem, but what you could do is just say, okay, that's a 1x, so that's like 1/6 x plus 7 over 6. You just put each thing over your denominator and break apart your fraction. If I use that here, 2x divided by 2 would give me x minus 8 divided by 2. Okay, this is still just a linear equation. I only have x to the first, so we're just combining like terms. You have a calculator. If fractions really terrify you, no judgment. We're trying to get to an answer here. So if I add my x's, 1/6 plus 1. That's like 1 over 6 plus 6 over 6. Okay, then I have a 7 over 6 and a negative 4. If you don't know it, plug it in. What's that going to give me? 7 over 6 minus 4. Okay, so I can add my 17 over 6 to the other side. Okay, what's negative 4 plus 17 over 6? Yeah, it's a negative 4 and a positive 17. So I think it should be negative 7 over 6. All right, last thing here. This is a place where if you're using your calculator, people tend to make a lot of mistakes. If I'm trying to get x by itself, you can multiply by the reciprocal or you can divide by 7/6. But I noticed just even on some of our other problems when we had fractions, people were plugging this in wrong. If you are dividing fractions on these calculators, you have to put parentheses around both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, don't forget those parentheses or it will give you the wrong answer. So what does x equal? -1. All right. Is that okay? Can you guys try a couple problems on your own? Here's 2 for you. So first one, walking around, everybody was splitting this up. So x over 4 is like 1/4 x minus, careful, 2 over 4 is 1/2. A couple of you accidentally put 2 there. X over 3 would be 1/3 x plus 1 over 3. All right, combine like terms. So 1/4 plus 1/3, 7/12. Negative 1/2 plus 1/3. So we add our 1/6 to the other side. So we have 7/12x equals 2 is like 12/6 plus 1/6. Divide by the 7/12, or if you don't want to divide, you could multiply by the reciprocal. Same thing. And we get 26/7. All right, so we don't have to only have nice integer answers. Fractions are going to happen. It's okay. And we know, how would I check myself if I was unsure? Plug back in. All right, B. What do I need to do first here? Distribute. Start on the inside here. Those brackets are just acting as a second set of parentheses. So if I take my negative through, that would give me a positive 9 minus 2x. Over here, if we distribute 6x minus 2. If you want, you could go ahead and combine like terms. -5 plus 9 is 4. So if we distribute, we get -12 plus 6x equals 6x minus 2. What happens now?
X is cancelled out.
Yeah, when I subtract my 6x, I'm left with -12 equals -2. Does -12 equal -2? So what does that mean? This one has no solution. It does not work. And this has a name when something doesn't work. It's called a contradiction. Okay, that original equation cannot be solved. Any questions on those two? One more here. What if I ask you to find the zeros? This is written in function notation. What's another word for zeros? We talked about it in the last section. Yes. It's what x equals. Those are the x-intercepts. Or if you think about on a graph, an x-intercept is the x value that makes it equal 0, makes our y 0. So if I'm asking you to find the zeros, you are just going to set this equation equal to 0. So I'm just plugging in a 0 for my f of x or my y value. All right, you guys solve it from here. Pull on those. So if we look, we have 0.06x plus. This is the step where, if you made a mistake, most of you did. If you distribute that 0.9, so 0.9 times 1.5 gave us 1.35. It was this negative right there that most of you dropped. 0.9 times negative x would be negative 0.09x. A lot of you had a plus there. Minus 0.07 times 15. Combine like terms. Positive 0.06 and negative 0.09 would be negative 0.03x. 1.35 minus 1.05. 0.3. Trying to get x by itself so you could add it to the other side. And if we divide by 0.03, what do we get? And again, how do we check ourselves? Plug it into the original, and it should equal 0. Do you see where you went wrong?
Yeah, I forgot half the equation.
Oh, that would make a difference. Yeah. Just didn't feel like copying that part down.
I didn't even see it.
Alright, so there are 3 different types of equations that we can encounter. Our linear equations. Most of these we've gotten an answer, right? If you get a solution, that means essentially you have 2 lines, they meet, you get a number. If you get a solution, that's called a conditional equation. So you probably want to write these terms down. Conditional, you have a solution. This equation is true under the condition x equals 10. Okay, it's only true in certain circumstances. Contradiction, we had one of those. We solved it and we got a no solution, right? I got down to a point it was like -12 equals -2. That never happens. In terms of a graph, what that means is you have 2 parallel lines. They're never going to touch each other. The third type is an identity. An identity is true no matter what. So you will solve an equation and get -2 equals -2. Okay, that is true no matter what x is. So that, in terms of a graph, means I gave you 2 equations for the same line. Okay, every point on that line makes it true. So, conditional, you get a solution. Contradiction, there is no solution. An identity, it's all real numbers. Everything makes it true. We have an infinite number of solutions. If I ask you to classify your equations, you have to solve them and see what we get for our answers. So we'll try a couple of the classifying ones and make sure we can handle that. Everybody have what they need from this? So, I want to identify each as an identity, conditional, or contradiction. You don't know just by looking at it. That means we have to solve it and use our solution to decide. So, this one isn't too complex. We distribute our -2 to start. -2x minus 8 plus 3x equals x minus 8. -2x and positive 3x gives me x. If I subtract my x over, we have -8 equals -8. When is -8 equal to -8? Every time. So first of all, what is the actual solution here? There's infinite solutions. You are free, if you just want to say all real numbers here, that's fine. Infinite solutions is fine. No matter what number you plug in for x, this equation is true. So how would we classify it? Identity. Okay. You guys classify those 2 for me. So first one, if we add over our 4, 5x equals 15, divide, and x is 3. So that's my solution. Since we got a solution, what type is it? Conditional. Alright, second one, distribute. So 9x minus 9 equals, or minus 3, sorry. Equals 9x plus 7. When you subtract your 9x, we have -3 equals 7. So what is the actual solution? No solution. Then what type is it? Looked like we did fine with those. Do we need any more practice with that? Okay. Last problem. I want you guys to do this one. Find the zeros. So think back. We did one just a second ago. What's another word for x-intercept? It says find the x that makes your y 0. Alright, so if we distribute, we get 1.5x plus 3x minus 12 plus 4.5x. What's 4.5 times 9? What?
40.5.
Okay. Combine like terms. So 1.5x, 3x, and 4.5x. What does that give me? Negative 12 plus 40.5. What's that give me? Okay. So bring one of those to the other side. Divide. And what does x equal? Any questions? Okay, so 2 things. I have quizzes from yesterday that I'm going to hand back, and I'll come around and go over questions. If you were gone yesterday, I have you on my advisory list to take this quiz, but you are welcome to just start it right now, if you would like, okay? Then, there is a Math Excel assignment open. So, because I have people that might be starting the quiz, I will just come around and answer individual